Hey everyone, I'm back with another GameStop story, and this one's a doozy, so hold on to your seat. So we had a lot of colorful characters come into the store. Regular customers, if you will, all the time. You know, we had, the smelly guy, we had the eccentric lady, we had the middle-aged mom that would scream and want to return everything she bought, even though it was out of policy. But we had this one regular customer. Let's call him Dave. So he would come in and he would frequent the store. He'd come to midnight launches. He'd participate in tournaments, so all that kind of stuff. He was a really short guy. He was like 5'2", and really proud. Kind of a compulsive liar. Kinda is an understatement. So he'd always come in dressed in his Navy SEAL garb, right? Because he always talked about how he was in the Navy SEALs, which if you met him, you'd understand that he was never in the Navy SEALs. Oh yeah, did I mention that he was dating Playboy bunny Holly Doro? He was never in the military, never had a girlfriend, let alone a girlfriend that lived with Hugh Hefner in California. He lived in his grandparents' basement, played games all day, he had the whole setup, of course, so, that was pretty much his life. Now my manager, compulsive liar as well, he's around 480 pounds, literally, like no joke. Certified ham planet, for real. So I didn't really believe him when he told me he was a college basketball star, nor when he told me that he was almost in the Olympics as a swimmer. But, he got hurt right before the Olympics and couldn't be in it. Shame. Also didn't believe him when he told me he owned 16 properties and then said he sold all of them 1 month and made $2 million. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep working at GameStop and not get my fat sawed off. My manager hires this guy. This extremely shady guy. The compulsive liar. Dave. So there was about a 6-month period where my manager would come in, say 9 to 1. As soon as I walk in, he left. Then he would come back at 5 and he'd clock out. Yep, riding the clock like a true boss. Eventually Dave came into the store and showed me videos on his old flip phone of him having sex with prostitutes. And not the expensive ones. No, the ones that would accept a cough drop or a half-eaten lollipop as payment. And would you guess who was in the background? Can you guess? Who was in the background? This giant dark mask. Just jerking off. The 8th wonder of the world. My manager. In the background of these videos. Jerking off. Of course everyone at the store knew, and we would say it under our breath, but we never really told him we knew. So here comes the crazy part. So my DM started suspecting that the manager actually wasn't there from 1 to 4, because of complaints, of course, from the staff at the store. So he started tightening his grip on the manager, kind of checking in, calling, making sure he was there. So what does my store manager do to alleviate this? He and Dave would get prostitutes, come into the store, go into the back room, go into the bathroom, lock all the doors, and have sex with prostitutes. Well, Dave would. The manager would just watch. Don't get me wrong, I've never seen whales mate, but I'm pretty sure it's not possible in such an enclosed space. Of course, we knew what was going on, and I think even the DM pretty much knew. But it finally made its way up to the regional. Yep. So then HR came in, they confiscated all the tapes. Yeah, tapes. I'm a fossil, thanks. So a week went by, nothing. We were all 100% sure he was going to get fired and we were going to have sweet release. Sweet release! And then a month went by. And again, we didn't hear anything. And we actually never heard anything about it again. That was it. And of course, they went back to having sex with prostitutes in their free time. As you should. Hey everyone, Camelot331 here, and I'm back for another GameStop story. Another trip into the nightmare that is GameStop. And this time we're going to talk about the annual meeting in Las Vegas. GameStop Conference is what they called it. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the annual meeting that GameStop managers, store leaders, because we're a family, would go to. This took place in Las Vegas every year up until around 2016 when they wanted to save money. So we went to San Antonio and Anaheim, California. Woo. Everything closed at 9 and there was just the homeless people. That was the biggest attraction in San Antonio and Anaheim. Was the homeless people. That's it. It was great. Now these annual meetings or conference was basically an excuse to brag about how much money the company had made in the form of extremely high up, or bigwigs in the company, standing up on stage and having zero stage presence and charisma. Saving money on entertaining speakers and tooting their own horn in the process. It was also an excuse to party heavily and witness things that you wouldn't have believed unless you saw it with your naked eye. In the more recent years I was there, I vividly remember all the bigwigs just getting booed off stage. Mainly for how terrible their decisions were basically up until this point. Whether it was cutting store leaders' bonuses to basically nothing, or lowering store leaders from salary to hourly, completely destroying all morale across company, let alone with their scheduling and their freedoms they had prior. It always seemed like it was GameStop's first idea, when they were lacking in profits in a quarter, was to just punish the store leader. You know, the guy that was directly responsible for the profit. Let's punish that guy. It'll go great. Every year at conference, there was a new slogan. Some kind of slogan that involved game or future. I'm not sure which year this was. Look at all the little people. This is the agenda. This is what we were doing in the agenda. This one doesn't have a slogan. I guess they didn't care this year. One year we were there, and the slogan was called Empowered Leadership. We could make the stores look how we wanted. We could schedule the associates and ourselves how we wanted. Basically, complete freedom to encourage us to run our own business. You know? Now I know what you're thinking. It seems great. It seems great, right? Well, it lasted all but about 2 weeks before we were getting drilled because a headset was in the wrong row in a section, or the blue DualShock was to the left of the red DualShock. Something was slightly out of place. So that went away real fast, as you can imagine, because the whole point is extreme micromanaging, and GameStop could never deviate away from that. They just couldn't. So that went down the drain almost as soon as it was spoken. It was like empowered leadership, never mind. Give us power-up cards, you're fired. Another part of the GameStop conference was the expo, where us leaders could go into the expo and like play games that were not released yet, or you know, patches for games or expansions for games, stuff like that. And there was like a lot of booths. Like I tried Project Morpheus before it was VR at the time, which was really cool. And you know, you get to meet a lot of designers, you get to hang out with those designers, actors. I met Ed Boon, I met Stan Lee one time, I met the Ultimate Warrior, the wrestler. One time I met George Lynch, the guitarist from Dawkins, and he let me play with him, and I got to play as M1 Tiger. It was really cool. It was really massive, and it was really cool. It really dwindled down the last few years I was there to where there was almost nothing. I mean, I think the last year I went in, I didn't even hang out but like 30 minutes because there was just nothing in there. It was just so vacant of everything because GameStop didn't hold the market share anymore. So these companies see no reason in showing up because Amazon. If there was an Amazon conference, everybody's gonna be there. Actually, I want to refer back to something I said earlier where people were booing the high ups just off the stage because they're just giving us bad news after bad news. They're going to punish us, take our bonuses away, lower our pay, all kinds of stuff like that. And then they would hide it under the fact that, well, the store leader is responsible for our profit. So the fact that we are underperforming in profit directly falls on the store leader's shoulders. Those are exact words that we got. It fell directly on the store leader's shoulders. So they would punish us. And I remember people, when we were basically in lines for shuttle buses to go home, saying to me they have already put their 2 weeks notice in. And I mean like over 100 people. I couldn't imagine on a bigger scale how many people left. And just to put that in perspective, the district I worked in, we were known as like the legacy district. All of our managers had been basically with the company for 10 or more years. That same district now has 2 or 3 managers left out of the 17 stores that were in there. Everyone has left. Everyone. So it was always really cool being able to talk to these people that shared the same opinion as you and were like, yeah, we are really getting screwed over here. This is terrible. And see basically what everybody thought kind of about what was going on, the environment. One time I was sitting on a bench next to a charging station, and they had put charging stations in that year, which was really cool. And this beautiful girl walks up and sits beside me, and I ask her if she wants to use the charging station that I was, using. And she looked at me and smiled with this huge smile, and what a beautiful smile she had. It was unreal. It was just, it would just light you up, like instantly make you, I guess, feel better. Which made me feel better, because I was in a bad mood, because GameStop was like, you guys suck. So her smile made me feel awesome. So as she sat beside me, I asked her if she needed the charging station that I was using. And she looked at me and smiled and said, no, but I'll take some of you. And then she just laughed hysterically. And then I laughed nervously. It was great.
I'm such a mess. I had no idea what was going on because no one said anything like that, which was really cool. You know, no one's ever said that kind of thing. Well, we ended up hitting it off and spending the rest of conference together. And we had a really awesome friendship, you know, after that. And she was a really cool person, to have met in Vegas. And I was just honored to have met her. So, you know, I really miss her. She was really cool. Now, for every good experience at conference, there comes a really bad one. So I always room with this really big guy. When I say big, I mean big. We'll call him Egg. Well, me and one of the other store leaders from the same district I was in, which she can't be named because she still works there, we'll call her Gibby. She was in my room and we were drinking with Egg. And Egg was a champion. He could eat anything, he could drink anything. I mean, nothing fazed this man. An entire bottle of bourbon, gone. All him, gone. But this night, he got wasted. Well, another one of the store leaders from our same district ended up calling Gooby, asking where our room was. Much to my dismay, she told her, and this girl showed up. Now this girl, we'll call her Fupa, F-U-P-A, was really, really big, and she was completely wasted. And around the time she showed up, my roommate Egg was pissing in the corner of the hotel room in the Venetian in Las Vegas. I'm sorry, Venetian staff. Then he proceeded to run down the hallway naked, 500 pounds of flapping glory. Straight up butter golem, just running full speed down this hallway in the Venetian. So naturally I had to go wrangle him so he doesn't get fired, while Gibby wrangled Fupa, and we all eventually made our way back into the room. Me and Gibby were pretty much sober at this point, as you can imagine. And we felt pretty safe because everybody was wrangled, no one was gonna get fired, it was all good. Well, all of a sudden, Egg and Fupa started having one-ton sex, which was quite the sight, and I was way too afraid to witness this, so I hid under the covers with Gooby. All you could hear was slapping. What was slapping? I don't know, but I have a pretty good idea. At one point, the sound abruptly stopped, so I peeked out of the cover just to see these two giant thighs just staring at me. Then the covers just ripped off me, and he threw Fupa at my bed. I screamed and I jumped out of the bed with Gooby and just ran as Egg just chased us, and Fupa just passed the hell out. Completely. And then she fell into the floor. Legend has it she's still laying there, because she was so gone. Upon further inspection, I noticed that there was poo and blood all over my bed, where Fupa had been briefly. I don't know what Egg did to her, but it must have been so violent. Like, what the hell, man? So Gibby ended up going back to her room, and I got a pillow, and I just slept in the hallway. And every now and then, you'd hear distant screams coming from the room, so I have no idea what was going on. Camelot 331 here, and let's go ahead and get something out of the way. I stayed in a big spooky house last weekend, and I must have gotten bit by a bug or a ghost, because I have a golf ball on my face right here. You see that? I'm just a frail little human. What do you expect? I'm frail, talentless, sad, and above all, I look ugly. I mean, look at this. So welcome to the show today, and I want to talk to you about getting robbed at gunpoint at GameStop. And I'm talking giant fat revolvers and shaky hands, man. I'm talking about a perfect recipe for me eating a smoothie buffet for the rest of my life. The date was October 30th, 2007. Because if they did it a day later on Halloween, no one would have thought it was a real burgle. Hey look, it's two guys dressed up as robbers, which is perfectly normal on today, the day of Halloween. So it was me, Wally, and Hammy. Wally was the ASM at the time, and Hammy was the third key. Wally was going through all the Black Friday signage and floor plans, and I was putting games away behind the counter, like the sealed games that we'd like put behind the counter. And Hammy was off that day, and he was just up at the store playing World of Warcraft on his laptop. We were just chatting it up and having a good time, you know, back when GameStop was relaxing and laid back and generally a fun place to work. We had one customer in the store, and I went up to the register to take care of him. You know, ask him if he had an Edge card, ask him if he wanted to pre-order Call of Duty 4, threatened to take the blood of his first newborn if he refused. The normal stuff. He paid for his items, I gave him his receipt, and he promptly left the store. About 30 seconds later, the door chime went off, and the door swings wide open and we hear the words, "Nobody move." Two guys stood at the door dressed in all black and brandishing large guns. One has a katana in the art. I don't really know why. I guess it's kinda cool looking. One of the guys quickly rushed behind the counter, told me to turn around and put the barrel of a Chihuahua-sized pistol up against my temple. He then started screaming at Wally to open up the register. It was all happening so fast that I didn't really have time to react, so I just complied. I stood there with my eyes open, waiting for something. I don't really know what. For the next thing, whatever it was. I heard the register pop open. I heard some change moving around. Then the robber guy got irate and started screaming and asking where the bags were. Screaming it over and over. Where are the bags at? Where are the bags at? The bags he were referring to was bags that we would put large amounts of money throughout the day in and put it into the safe, like cash drops basically. It was a relatively slow night, so there was no bags and not much in the till. The barrel got pressed harder and harder against my temple as the guy flung the register closed, making a really loud, sharp noise. Around that time, something came over me. It was like a calm feeling, like a relaxed feeling, as the barrel was pushed harder into my head. Like a feeling of peace, if that makes sense. Because judging from how he was acting, from the low amount of money that was in the register, I was sure I was gonna die right then and there. I grew up in a rather rough part of my state. Gangs and such would hit stores, sometimes killing the folks inside because it was part of their gang initiation to do so, to take a life. So in that moment, I was sure I was dead, and for some reason, a reason I can't really explain, I was okay with it. Probably because subconsciously, I knew my life was gonna fall apart a couple years later. I felt fulfilled and at peace. I had accepted my fate and my mind just went blank. Not more than around 5 seconds later, with my eyes still closed, the door chime went off and they were gone. Wally was extremely upset. He was throwing stuff because he was just really mad that they had basically stolen from us, that they had taken from us. I was just quiet. I hadn't really processed what had just happened. Hammy came up to me and asked me if I was okay. He never said a word during the ordeal, which was probably the most optimal thing to do at that time. So shortly after the cops arrived, even faster than our 87-year-old security guard. He was apparently in TJ Maxx talking to the females that worked there, in perfect old creepy guy fashion. We explained what happened to the police and we gave them the surveillance footage from our store and filed a report. My DM called me, hell, everybody called me. We told our DM later as a result we needed more security at nights. Something to prevent something like that from happening. The store was literally 30 feet away from a crime-riddled area. We were such an easy target. He said we didn't have anything in the budget to provide anything like security or anything like that. So he basically suggested that if it happened again for us to just run in the back, the back room. Which would be great, because the door to the back room was paper thin and didn't lock or even latch. So dying in a much more enclosed place, I guess, seemed like a better idea. The next day, the regional manager called me and my parents apologizing over and over, and he even offered me a month off with pay, which was obviously a ploy to get me to not file a lawsuit. But I was trying to act all tough at the time, so I said no to the time off, and I was like, I just want to get back to work. I mean, I was 17 and dumb. We were all 17 and dumb once. If you offered me a month off with pay now, I would literally not bathe for 30 days and go into a food coma. So the moral of that story is do not act tough. Tough equals dumb. My store manager, Egg, had a region meeting the week after that to prepare for Q4. He told everyone what happened, and he added a small detail. He told everybody that I was sobbing and crying, which didn't happen. I was just quiet, relieved. I mean, if I cry, I'll tell you, I'm not embarrassed. I cry every day. It's part of my daily schedule. I watch Moana, I cry every day. But he was completely lying. Keep in mind that he wasn't even there. The police never caught the guys that robbed us, and GameStop's answer was, just run. You can get shot in the back. At least you can have an open casket funeral. Have any of you ever been robbed at gunpoint? Or sword point? Or toenail clippers point? Tell me about your robbery stories in the comments. I'll reply to all the ones that I see. Hey everyone, Camelot331 here, and I know what you're thinking. Another GameStop video. Yes, I worked there 11 years. What do you expect? It is all I know. It's all I can talk about. My friends be like, what are you doing today? And I'm like, GameStop. I don't know. I don't have any other terminology. But you will not believe what happened today. And I don't know if it's the timing of it or someone at GameStop corporate saw my video and maybe are trolling me or something. But look what I got in the mail today. Look at this. Would you just look at this? In grateful appreciation of Cody for 10 years of dedicated service. Dedication. My last name's not Black Bar. It's something else, but I put that there. And there's a big letter. Just a big letter. I'm gonna read it to you. It says, congratulations on 10 remarkable years of service. With thanks to you, GameStop remains valued worldwide as an innovative, rapidly growing family of brands that provides unique technology and entertainment solutions to our customers and exciting career opportunities for our associates. We're able to do this because of the passion, commitment, and creativity and hard work that you and others bring to the GameStop family. During the past 10 years, you have been a vital part of our growth and sustainable value. You damn right. You damn right. Only me. It was me. I grew the whole company by myself. On behalf of the entire GameStop family of brands, thank you for all that we have achieved together. Keep in mind the CEO made $32 million a couple years ago. In honor of this achievement, enclosed is your GameStop Power Player Certificate with a code for a special gift from our online catalog. Special code. I wonder what it could be. Thank you for the opportunity to support your success for 10 exciting years. Exciting. Almost getting robbed and killed and seeing hookers everywhere. It's so exciting. I guess it is. Your passion has helped us maintain and grow the market share and profits. Market share. Not anymore, man. Market share and profits of our core gaming business in over 6,000 stores in 14 countries. Your values have helped make GameStop one of the world's most admired family of business brands. Admired. We are grateful that you committed 10 years of your work, commitment, passion, and values to our shared success. We lead and grow as a family. Let's achieve even more together. Remember that our commitment to protecting the family is a commitment to you and those important to you. Above all, we value relationships and ideas. We value our relationship with you. We value your ideas. Our ideas. I remember once, specifically, this isn't in the letter, by the way. They didn't mention this at all. I remember one time I decided that I was going to move spined games, bookshelf games. Anybody that's worked there knows what I'm talking about, but the bookshelf was usually at the bottom of the entire section, meaning you would have to bend down to, look at it. And I was like, you know what? That's dumb. Let's put it at eye level. So I put it on the 4th row. And my DM and regional manager came into my store and flipped out on me and told me to take it down, that I can't go against the planogram. This is not Cody Stop. He said this is not Cody Stop. Cody Stop. This isn't Cody Stop. This is GameStop. You know what they did 4 years later? It was part of the planogram to move bookshelf to row 4. Cody Stop. Thank you for being a vital part of our success for 10 years. Well, it just so happens that I'm not there anymore. So, is that why there's no more success within the company? Let's look and see what this code does, because I'm interested to see what this code does right here. Well, unfortunately, I can't log in, and that is not shocking because I haven't worked there for 2 years. But I got in contact with another associate that worked there around the same time I did, and he said it was a $100 gift card to Old Navy or Buffalo Wild Wings, whichever one you choose, which I do like some hot wings, but think about that for a second. $100 gift card. 10 years. That means it's $10 a year. $100 gift card to get some new pants. And I do need new pants. But the CEO probably made $280 million in that time period that he was there. And I go on to a gift card, get some new jeans. Damn, son. What a world we live in. Where I get a nice letter that says, congratulations, hang this on your wall if you want all your friends to laugh at you and you want to suicide afterwards. And go get you some new jeans or hot wings. You know what? I'm okay with the hot wings. It's a great deal.
Hey everyone, Camelot331 here, and today I have a huge GameStop dumpster dive find that is going to be insane. It's absolutely insane, man. Like, why would they throw something like this away? Something of this immense value that could bring so much joy to so many people around the world. Why would they throw it away? We're going to get into it, but first, I'm going to tell you the policy behind why GameStop does this, because people seem to be really confused about how this works. So you may have seen in different videos where people are dumpster diving in the dumpsters behind GameStop and finding like all kinds of cool loot and games and controllers and stuff. But the actuality behind these policies is there's an inventory section called Field Destroy, and that is everything that holds little to no value, say a penny, 5 pennies, usually less than $1. For example, anything Madden of last year and down. Because sports games. Stop buying sports game. It's the same game every year. When you buy a sports game, it's instantly worth 4 cents 7 days later. You're just throwing away money, man. And any of the controllers and accessories you may find are not going to work if they're in Field Destroy. Now, every now and then, you might find something that's really special. It may be a sign. It may be a fixture. It may be something that the store uses for marketing purposes. That's usually a really cool find. You could plaster every wall in your house with GameStop stuff. Your wife will probably leave you if you do that. But you can do that if you want to. It's fine. But every now and then you find something that is outrageous. So a few months ago I was driving down the road and there's actually a GameStop that's really close to my house. And the road that this GameStop is on, it actually, the back of the store faces the road so you can see the dumpsters. And when I was driving by, I see this thing standing beside the dumpster. And I know what it is from afar, but could it really be one that is intact, if that makes sense? As I pulled up closer, I couldn't believe they had actually broken policy in this case. And what I mean by that is, this is what was sitting beside the dumpster. A full, complete, working Xbox One demo unit. And I say demo unit, but this actually has an Xbox in the bottom drawer. So you can actually put a game in here, and it works. And then you just play it. You just play it. So the policy behind one of these things is you're actually supposed to take it apart. You're supposed to shatter the screen on the TV. You're supposed to take all the controllers off and cut them off at the wire. And you're supposed to take the Xbox unit that is in the bottom, and you're actually supposed to box it up and sell it as a pre-owned console in the store for full price. This pre-owned console's been baking like a cake, man, for 5 years, 6 years. And they're going to sell it for full price use. This thing's not going to work for no 2 seconds. When I worked at a store, we didn't turn these machines off for like a year. A year. The power. If there was a tornado, the tornado was the only guy that turned these off. Because the tornado turned the power out. I never turned these off. And they're going to sell that thing for full price. That's insane, man. Now, why would you throw one of these away? Why does GameStop throw these away? I don't know. They just apparently don't want anybody to have anything like this. But they shatter the screen. Imagine this. A homeless guy could find this. He could plug it up at a hotel with the money he gets from his begging from the day. And he can become really good at Call of Duty or Gears. And then go play in the tournament and win 10 grand. And then buy a house. Or probably a lot of booze. Whichever works, but at least he got the opportunity to do so. GameStop's robbing homeless people of opportunities to play in tournaments. And that's not right. That's not right. It's just not right. Now, when I worked at GameStop, I actually wheeled a Wii out, like the original Wii, and I wheeled it out to the dumpster because we had 2 in the store and we had to throw one away. And I wheeled it out, I took the Wii out and I put it in a box and I took the TV off and I exploded it. So that's the policy that GameStop follows when it comes to interactive units. Now, GameStop's not going to be around very long, so it doesn't matter. These things will be able to go back to the wild and be with their families and raise their young again. They won't be slaves to the corporation and get shattered. So I'm going to go over a few details about this giant thing. It has a huge screen on it. It's delicious. I'm pretty sure it's 1080p. I'm fairly confident that it is. They have a Kinect in here and an Xbox. These are just empty shells. They're not actually working units. Remember the Xbox One Kinect? Remember that? That was great, wasn't it? 2 working controllers. That totally worked. I mean, you could go over to the demos. I just click on the game demos. It's fine. I don't know how this thing works. This is actually the first time I've ever functioned or done anything with it. So we got Forza Horizon 3. We got FIFA 17. We got 5 of them, man. Got Ori. We got Lego. Star Wars, Lego Avengers. So we got games on here, game demos. I don't know if I can play this. You can play it. We can play with the Legos right now, like adults play with Legos. It's taking so long to load, and I remember when they were like, yeah, Xbox One won't have loading screens. Remember that? I'm pretty sure they said that about the 360 too. So, and they're saying that about the next console, the PS5 now. I will buy it. I like loading screen. You can't skip any of this, and they expect a customer to just stand here for 30 minutes. I guess you really want to play Star Wars, The Force Awakens Legos. Ba, 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 ba. While we wait for this to load, let's see what's in this little bottom pocket down here. The meat wallet, I like to call it. So we got an Xbox One. Oh, it's a little cute little guy. We got a remote for the TV, so you can turn it up and down, and it works. Bet. Let's do this. Yeah. Screw these bastards. Remember how great Lego Star Wars used to be? It's the same. What a terrible movie. I mean, game. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think you should be going to GameStop and looking for these every day, because you're not going to find one very often. So we only threw them away like once a year maybe. But I feel like this is probably the best dumpster find of all time. And when I pulled up, I saw it from afar, and I pulled up and it's just sitting there, and the back door's closed, and my heart was like, so I jumped in my car and I threw open the trunk and I just picked this thing up, manhandled it, and just slammed it in there. And my trunk was flapping on the way home because it couldn't close. Because I mean, look how big the ass is. It's got a huge ass on it. And I sped home and I threw it in my garage. And I actually plugged it up to see if it. God damn it. Oh, I'm just gonna take a shortcut down the residential road. That's a 25-mile-an-hour speed. I did plug it up once to see if it worked. And I was extremely surprised that it worked, and I was very happy about it. But I know what you think to yourself. How much is one of these worth? I don't know. Can you really put a number on it? It's just got so many things happening. I mean, I guess you could part it out and make a decent amount. And it makes cool for a conversation piece. But it's just been in the dungeon for a little while for me. Well, let's go see how much one of these things costs on eBay. So let's go check it out.
Okay, so let's go see how much one of these bad boys go for online. Because there's really no telling. Like I said, you can't really put a price on how much one of them will go. Let's see. See, I can't even find anything. Like, I can't even find anything on eBay for, to be able to put a price point on that. So the sky's the limit, man. The sky's the limit. Now ask yourself this. Why are they throwing this away? I mean, they're breaking the screen so no one can have it. They don't sell anything like that, so they don't make profit off of it. So is the entire reason why they're breaking it is just because they don't want anyone to have it? Like, is that the only reason? Well, we don't want anyone to have this. No one can have this if we can't have this. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. And let's go back to the part where you have to take the unit out and put it in a pre-owned box and sell it. A unit that's been literally baking, and I mean baking, for years. Just years in that thing. And they sell it for full price in the boxes. So that's the other thing. They're knowingly doing that and then breaking the screen so no one can use the screen. That's just insane. That's like psychotic if you think about it. Let me know in the comments if other companies have that sort of like policy. Does other companies do things to that nature? Do they just break stuff so no one can have it? Well, we can't use this, so I guess we'll just break it in half. Like, what if you did that with your kids? Well, my kid's 18 now. He's moving out. Guess I'll shoot him in the face. Like, no more use for him. Is that what you do with all your stuff that you don't use anymore? Well, I guess I got this new car, so I guess I'll just drive my other one off the Grand Canyon. Which does sound like a great idea, personally to me. It just blows my mind. So what you need to do is always make sure when you're circling that complex that you look at that dumpster, because there could be something crazy just chilling back there. something outrageous that you could use for yourself. Hey everyone, Camelot331 here, and today I'm going to talk about what and I'm sure a lot of you really enjoyed about GameStop, and that's the midnight releases, man. We would have midnight releases for Halo, for Call of Duty, for the Elder Scrolls series games. It was always such a cool experience. It was really awesome to see hundreds of people like come together and celebrate their favorite characters and titles and just fangirl over them with other people that felt the exact same way. It was always fun, even if you had to deal with the elitist smelly nerd every once in a while. Yes, his hair looks wet. Is it wet? No. He just hasn't bathed in 6 months. When I was a store manager, I took pride in my midnight releases. You know, back when GameStop would give us like a $100 budget and be like, spend it wisely, y'all. After 2014, they pretty much cut that $100 budget and said, we want you to make it an unforgettable event. With no budget. Just try cross-promotion with the barbecue guy from Ray's Barbecue. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Would you like to come to our midnight barbecue guy and provide barbecue for all the people at the release? Well, how much will you be paying me? Nothing, but you'll get a lot of exposure. Perfect. My rent costs exactly 1,000 exposures. This specific story is about the release of Halo 4, the first installment from 343, before they killed the series. That will never be rescued. We had over 800 reserves on Halo 4. It was huge. Me and my assistant manager Colton organized a huge tournament. We brought rows and rows of tables, 12 360s, 12 huge TVs, and tons of pent-up aggression that we were going to unleash on a bunch of unexpecting 12-year-olds. Now me and Colton were going to participate in said tournament just for fun. Just for fun. We are of course not eligible for the prize, and we definitely didn't take the game home 2 weeks early and play for countless hours to become unstoppable in preparation. We did none of those things. So people started showing up about 6 p.m. We were having a good old time, just palling around, fist bumping. We had 15 boxes of pizza. We were smashing them. It was delicious. I was gaining weight by the second, man. By the second. And the pizza was really cheap. So I was forced to evacuate my bowels multiple times throughout the night. Now my friend Joe, who was locally renowned as a Halo god, showed up to the tournament with my friend Austin, determined to win, yet again, like they always did. But me and Colton were prepared in the most legitimate, totally not any wrongdoing way possible. So we started finalizing the brackets for the tournaments, which were 2v2s. Team double, son. There was an electric feeling in the air. Not only was this Halo, but this was like a huge LAN party, man. Like the ones we had in the days of old. Truly the dawn of local massive multiplayer experiences, where you could smash your friends on the game, then immediately flick them off and teabag them. In real life, like all true friends did in the early 2000s. Everyone started picking up their controllers. We were done setting up. The time was here. All of a sudden, the door flung open, and there, standing in the doorway, was none other than Egg, with his staff from his store, which at this point he had surrounded himself by people that were just like him. They were all shady and they were all terrible. He brought some alcohol. He was popping some pills in the corner in true Egg fashion. It's not a party without a drunk, out of control Egg, man. Keep in mind there were children there, but it's all good, man. So Egg apparently heard about the tournament and decided to be a late entry. He apparently closed his store and took his staff and drove all the way across town just to crash my tournament. Keep in mind he was supposed to be at his store doing his midnight release for Halo 4. But instead he locked his door and made all of his customers just stand outside and wait for him to get back. Such a swell Egg. I of course called my DM and let him know that Egg was in my store and was not at his store. And he acted furious, and then he called Egg, who was 3 feet away from me. He answered the phone and then just shot the breeze with the DM and then hung up. Yeah, my DM didn't care. He never cared. So he entered our tournament with a member of his staff, and we started the tournament. We tore into all the customers and disposed them one by one. None of them posed a threat to us. It was like clubbing baby seals, and we had huge clubs. The baby seals never stood a chance, man. We had just one team left until we were on to the finals. Joe, the Halo god, and Austin were playing against Egg and his little egglet. We disposed of our team easily, and so did Joe, which was no challenge for him at all. But then something happened. Egg took Joe into the corner of the store and had a secret conversation with him. Then all of a sudden, Egg was Joe's teammate for the final match against me and Colton. I guess he paid him off to replace Austin. I don't know. I'll never know what happened that day. So the final match started and we took the lead early. All the customers were cheering us on. We had a faithful customer base at my store. Like faithful. Joe was able to bridge the gap, but it just wasn't enough, man. Wasn't enough. We took the final kill by 1 kill. Egg was furious and almost flipped the table. Like I can remember it. He like pushed the 360 over and was like acting like he was gonna flip the table. Like Joe got 23 out of the 24 kills they had. Egg was terrible. I don't know why he was there, to be honest. Like, he was so bad at shooters, man. He always got destroyed at every shooter. But he always wanted to play them. And acted like he was a god. When in fact, he was literally an egg with a controller. So then Egg stormed out because he had to get back to the store to, do the release. Because all those sad people were waiting in the rain. They were tearing up. They were just wanting to play some Halo, man. But all they did was sit in the cold. I don't actually know if it was cold and rainy, but I'm sure it was because it fits the narrative. We gave the prize to a team that finished third in our tournament, which was a free copy of the game and a $25 gift card. We then wrung everybody out, smashed some more pizza, and then headed home to play some more Halo and smash some more pizza, man. I just hadn't pooped enough blood that night. And no, Egg was never punished. He literally never was punished for anything he ever did. He thought of himself as immortal. Overall, the midnight was a huge success and probably one of my more memorable ones. And it's really kind of sad to think that those things will never happen again. Waiting in line, the excitement, the camaraderie of it, those experiences, whether being LAN parties, midnight releases, or just co-oping a game on the couch with your friend, those days are gone, man. And sometimes it really bums me out. Camelot 331 here, and today I'm going to talk about something that truly defines retail. And not just GameStop, like all retail. The thing that makes you detest mankind. The kind of thing that truly makes you think getting nuked and having to restart isn't entirely a bad option. In fact, it's the preferred one. And I'm talking about bad customers, man. Every time I got a bad customer, just nuke me, man. There's a train beside my house that wakes me up in the middle of the night at like 3 a.m. And I irrationally think it's a nuke, which is peaceful, right up until the point where I don't die. So it was a normal day at GameStop. I was waiting to die, waiting to live, contemplating existence, which was my normal cadence while working there. Then the door swung open, the chime went off, and a tiny middle-aged woman came storming in and rushed the counter. And I could see it in her eyes, man. She was mad. And she was targeting me. This was it, man. She instantly asked me where her son was. I was really confused. I responded that it was just me. It's just me. There's no kids in here. No kids have come in today. Which, a kid being in the store, playing the demo games, is not entirely out of the ordinary. Terrible parents used to always use us as a babysitting service. And we didn't charge much. I mean, sometimes we got robbed, so there's that small element of death or kidnapping, but you can't beat free, man. I mean, if you put cyanide on one slice of pizza out of 12, you best believe I'm still gonna go ham on it. I mean, I might just aim for the death slice, man. Probably just gonna go for the death slice. Now look, I don't mind talking to youngins about video games. I like to spread my completely biased knowledge that's drenched in nostalgia of days of old that they'll never experience. I'll have them playing Oblivion and hating every second of it. You best damn believe, son. But this day, this particular day, no kid had shown up. And she was sure he was there. And I mean sure. She kept screaming at me, asking me where I put her boy, and demanding I release him. I actually thought it was a joke at this point. This lady was suggesting I kidnapped her son, because that's apparently the perfect crime. Kidnap this kid in broad daylight, and then hide him in the back, and just continue on throughout the day. No one will expect it. So she kept running around the store. She forced herself behind the counter, demanding me give back her son. She then demanded to look in the back room, which was locked. She actually thought I locked this kid in the back room. Does it look like my last name is Spacey? No, I don't lock kids in rooms, man. At this point, I just called my DM because I was desperately looking for a solution. Because with all my expert training, I've never dealt with this kind of situation. So I told my DM what was happening, and he just told me to let her look in the back. So I went ahead and unlocked it, and she just busts through the door and was just screaming his name, asking him to come out, saying, "Don't worry, I'm here, come out." And of course he wasn't there. So I asked if she was satisfied, and then I asked her to leave. So she just got louder as tears streamed down her face and veins exploded from her neck, and said she was going to call the police and have my ass arrested for kidnapping her child. So at this point, I'm just like, go ahead. Just go ahead. I kind of want to see how this plays out. Just go ahead. Call them, man. So the police showed up, and they took her outside to separate us. And I could just see her outside flailing and pointing at me and glaring at me. And then the police walked in, and she stayed outside, and they just were like, what's going on? What is going on? And I told them, I have no idea. I've never met this lady. I've never met her son. And she's claiming I kidnapped her son. They even started to chuckle and said that she was certain that I kidnapped her son. And we all kind of had a chuckle because it's insane. And she apparently could read body language because she rushed in the store and started screaming that I was a liar and that she knew what I did. What the hell did I do? Just nuke me. Nuke me, man. I'm calling for nukes, man. At this point, just to keep the peace, they asked me to write a statement, and so did she. And I just wrote down a bunch of nonsense because they're just trying to shut her up. She was writing hers, and at that moment, the door chime went off, and this tiny little red-haired kid walked in. She gasped and runs up and grabs him and asks him where he's been. And he said he was in TJ Maxx for an hour. And I just stood there in disbelief because I actually didn't think this kid existed. Like, I thought she was literally insane. Like, there was no kid. There was never a kid. I was just in trouble. But there he was, standing there, all tiny. Now, at this point, I'm excited. I was preparing for a delicious apology from her to wash over my body while all my pores screamed in joy. You know the feeling. If you've worked retail and you just prove a customer wrong right in front of you, ooh, damn son. Better than sex. Nothing better than that. So I had won. I didn't even know I was playing. I didn't even know I was in this game. But I had won just by existing. She then looks at me from across the store, glares, and then storms out. I could not believe it. The police could not believe it. She was still mad at me. She probably thought that I put him in TJ Maxx for safekeeping for later. Just to keep him warm, I'm going to keep him in TJ Maxx for later use. So the next day, my DM calls me. And he tells me this lady called corporate and complained on me and said I was incredibly rude to her and she wanted me fired. Sweet justice. Now you all know me. I was renowned as the nicest guy to deal with in GameStop. I never lost my composure. And she told him I yelled at her and was rude and deserved to be fired. Well, obviously. I laughed. He laughed. The roaches roaming the store laughed. It was great, man. Then he proceeded to tell me that I have to call her and apologize to her and offer a $100 gift card. I was completely shook. I told him I could not do that. There was no way I could ever do that for that little evil woman. Never. Even with how little I accomplished in life, I had pride, man. I was confident, and I would never falter in the face of irrational behavior. That's just not me, man. So I proceeded to call her and apologize and offer her that card. Camelot 331 here, and I'm sure you've all heard. Everyone's heard now. I got terminated from my job. Or is it a separation? I don't know. So the illustrious Clean Prince Gaming did a video about me, talking about my story, and basically what has happened to me in the past couple of days. And I want to say thanks so much, Clean Prince. It means a lot to me that you are supporting the cause and getting the word out there. And basically letting everybody know we ain't going to go down without a fight, man. So if you haven't checked out that video by Clean Prince, it's in the description. Give it a check, man. So today I'm going to tell the entire story, no detail left out. So I've been working at this new company for going on 2 years. This company has a contract with Walmart as a third-party seller of basically specialty items in the Walmart because the Walmart associates can't sell these items. Because Walmart doesn't actually train the associates to use any of the computers and stuff required to sell these certain items. Because why do that? You could just hire another company to do it. Apparently they don't have any confidence in their associates at all to be able to sell something that they carry. So for me, everything's going great. Our sales are great. I led the entire company for almost an entire year. Doing awesome. Everything's great. Then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, my YouTube just starts to get more popular. For no reason. It just starts to get more popular, and I noticed slowly that like some of my associates found my YouTube without me giving them any knowledge that I even had one. And it just so happens that all my videos are about how terrible GameStop is, which is completely warranted. Because they're absolutely terrible. All of this was happening about a month prior to my termination. Now I felt kind of safe because every single person that's above me, and actually that are my colleagues, are 50 to 60-year-old men, and they're all required to use a smartphone for our job, and it's absolutely hilarious watching them fumble through everything on their smartphone. It makes me giggle when they do the one finger poke at everything. It's like your grandpa, man. He's trying to just play some Snake or some Tetris, and he just can't quite get it, and it's the cutest thing in the world. So I felt pretty safe that they would never find it, because they don't even know what YouTube is. They probably think it's a band. So about 2 weeks ago, I get news from several of the store leaders I used to work around at GameStop that my old DM and my old regional director were traveling stores, and they were asking each manager, if they had talked to me, which they all declined, of course, because they kind of know what they're getting at. And a few of them overheard and corroborated their story that the DM and the RD was looking for a way to basically damage me, bring down charges on me, something to that nature. Now this scared me at first, because I don't know nothing about the law, because of where I'm from. Hell, I can't even read. I don't even know where I am right now. But I had so many people reach out to me with legal advice that made me feel pretty safe, so I wasn't too worried about that. So fast forward 1 week later, the YouTube's really gaining steam when all of a sudden I'm dragged into this HR interview out of nowhere on a Monday morning. And I thought for sure I had accidentally slapped a baby or said something wrong to the wrong person. And I was like, well, this sucks, but nothing I can't fight. So I sit down in a chair, and there's this female and this male, and they sit down in 2 chairs in front of me. And the first thing out of their mouth was, "So we found your YouTube channel." And I was like, oh, well, this is it. So they actually asked me if this information that I was putting out on YouTube was true about my previous company, which was weird. Why does that matter? But of course I was like, yeah, it's all true. Then they asked me if I was planning on putting out any disparaging information against this company, our current company. And I'm like, of course not. Why would I do that? That don't make no sense. Then they asked me if I thought the kind of information I was putting out about my prior company, if I thought it was funny and I thought it was professional to be doing that. And I was like, yeah, I find it hilarious. That's the whole point. Because how can you possibly do half the things? Take advantage of people that didn't speak English, completely rob little kids every single day, do everything you can to rip off as many people as possible, just so you don't get fired or yelled at. Yes, I found that absolutely hilarious that exists in 2019, but I kept my composure. Then they told me, okay, well, that's all we needed to know. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing. And they were like, well, go ahead and, go home and wait it out, because we're going to have to look into this a little bit more to come to our determination, our decision, if you will. And I've heard this before. It's like a mirror image. It's all happening again, man. It's like PTSD in my brain. I'm on the battlefield. I'm having flashbacks. I'm holding my dying third key's body in my hands. Please don't leave me. I'm having flashbacks, man. So then my boss calls me, and he asked me if I had my interview with HR. And I was like, oh, great, you know about that. Of course you do. And I was like, yeah, it's over. And then he made the remark, well, yeah, looks like one of your buddies from GameStop called our HR department and let them know. And I'm just like, wait, what? What? Are you serious? And he was like, oh, no, you didn't hear that from me, though. And this guy is kind of dumb. So So, I mean, but that's apparently, that was the first remarks I got. Well, fast forward a week, and I had to do another interview. Or an outerview? I don't... Is that a word? I don't think it's a word, because it was really fast. So same situation, same people. And they told me that it doesn't seem to be working out. And as of right now, you are no longer employed at this company. Which didn't really surprise me. And then I asked for like a reason of termination. Well, what's the reason for termination? And they said, well, we can't really give a reason. And I'm like, what? No, you can give a reason. And one of the HR people said, well, we don't have to give you a reason. You don't have to have a reason for termination. And they were being like really smug about it, which is fine, whatever. I don't care. Everybody's smug. It's because I'm so nice, man. I'm just so nice. I'm just like, hey, how you doing? And they just think they can be mean to me. Which they can, because I'll just smile and nod. So I literally made the remark. I was like, that's kind of crazy that you can't give me a reason for termination. And one of them said, don't think of it as a termination. Think of it as a separation. We wasn't dating. I don't even know you that much. We've only seen each other once. And now we're together. Because that doesn't make no sense to me. Separation. What the hell, son? Who am I separating from? I've been through the separation before. Just shoot me in the face. I can't do this again. PTSD. So as you can imagine, this got me extremely down. And I couldn't get out of bed. I was leaning on a lot of people in Discord to just talk to me. Because I laid in bed till like 4 p.m. It was pretty bad. Because I was like, well, this is it. I'm dead now. Guess I'm losing everything. But a lot of people have showed me a lot of support, and it has really helped me out. I'm really thankful for that, and everybody in the Familot, and Clean Prints, and everybody that's just showed support. And I've actually had a bunch of my old associates from this company reach out to me, and all they're talking about is my YouTube channel. Like the entire company keeps referencing my YouTube channel. Everyone. It's going around like wildfire on that company. So that's totally the reason. It's totally the reason, and they only caught wind of it because somebody called in. I've had multiple associates reach out to me saying that they've been on conference calls where my old boss and all around the company, they're telling people to not talk about anything online, to not talk about anything on YouTube. So they're making like new parameters around it and everything. So apparently it's like a knee-jerk reaction to what they found because they thought, I guess, I was going to spread some bad stuff. Or maybe another company threatened them, strong-armed them. And there's no telling. There's just no telling, man. So until next time, get on it, dog. Bye. Yeah.